What in the world of Hogwarts is this? This is incredible. Welcome back to A Vision Experiment with me, Ty, talking everything AppleVisionPro, spatial computing, applications, accessories, and more. And not only are we going to be talking a bit about this, but we're going to be talking broadly about a user's review of the brand new VisionOS 26 beta that just released at WWDC not too long ago. The good, the not so good, and is it worth updating to a developer beta or waiting till it releases to the public later this year? Let's get out of the headset, back in the studio. So it's just been short of 2 weeks since WWDC 2025's initial opening keynote came out, where we had dozens of new updates to all the different OSs across Apple's ecosystem. Some of the main ones that probably us as Vision Pro users are looking forward to were obviously VisionOS and the new update to iOS and macOS to combine all of these to be something very useful all together. There was going to be dozens of reviewers and dozens of media people talking about, in this case, VisionOS 26 and how amazing it really is, considering that this software for general release won't come out until later on in the year. It is currently available as a developer beta, and with that, that's where I try these things so you guys don't necessarily have to, just in case there are some bugs and problems with the software. This is one of the main reasons why I've left it so late to give you my honest review of the brand new update to VisionOS. I felt like it wasn't fair to just come straight out and say how amazing all the new features were without truly, let's just say, road testing a lot of them properly. I haven't upgraded to the current iOS update for my iPhone, and I haven't updated my Mac for a couple of reasons. I don't really want to have a very, very unstable iOS on my iPhone right now. And from reading Reddit forums, it's not the most stable currently. Also, when it comes to Mac software, my Mac is my workhorse, it's my work device, it's my personal everything when it comes to editing, and I don't want an unstable Mac software in Tahoe currently on my MacBook Pro. That said, as soon as future betas release, before we even get public release, I will likely update them so that I can check out some of the other features. One of the big features, which wasn't really announced during the keynote, was now the ability to unlock your iPhone whilst being signed in with Optic ID on your Apple Vision Pro. That was something that everybody wanted desperately, and we do now have it. And for people that have updated, I'm hearing good things. But what I do want to do is go through some of the main features that we got in VisionOS 26 that I have used and really enjoy. So I'm really terrible at explaining to people why it's really good to follow this channel and why it's really important for me for you guys to like these videos. So let me explain. It's really important for you guys to like the video because it tells YouTube and the algorithm that I'm doing the right thing. Also, it helps me to know that you guys like what I'm doing. Now, when it comes to subscribing, I really just appreciate you guys helping me to grow this channel. I want to grow it as big as possible and create an incredible community of not only Vision Pro users, but people who are using XR devices, spatial computers, and talk more about broader forms of technology. With your guys' support, it's the only way that I can do bigger and better content in the future. And so I really appreciate it if you are able to do that. And let's carry on. Just so you don't get bored, I'm really going to summarize a lot of the features that I feel are some of the biggest in VisionOS 26. You probably know already, but realistically, I'm going to give you my feedback on using them so that you understand not only why I maybe like them, but maybe the things that aren't quite working with them right now on the first version of the developer beta. And I'm probably going to give you a bit of an overview of some of the things that are a little bit glitchy and buggy, just to make sure that you're aware of these things if you haven't updated already. So let's just start off with Spatial widgets. Spatial widgets was one of the first things announced, and I absolutely love them. Some time back at Meta Connect, they announced that Quest headsets were going to have something called augments. They were permanent augmented reality features added into your space. They'd stay where they were, pinned to the walls or on your mantelpiece, table or desk. They were going to be a constant feature of your surroundings whilst wearing your headset. And they just never became a reality. They never happened. But Apple have managed to achieve this in Spatial widgets, which is incredible, where you can have a spatial clock on the wall. You can have like a photo or a collection of images, spatial images or 2D images just on your wall or anywhere else. It's just an amazing thing you could have just there all the time, filling your space and basically customizing in 3D space your own environment. I've managed to do this at work, where I've got a really nice clock up on the wall. I've got a couple of really nice images from some of my travels on the side of me. Behind me, I've got a music poster for Apple Music, where I can literally just click on it and it will just start playing that particular playlist. There are so many things that could be useful. I even downloaded the Tesla application because I have a Tesla Model 3, and I can just have on the side of the wall monitoring my charging, making sure that my car's not overheating, and just in general monitoring the vehicle. And it's just on the wall, quick glance, and it's brilliant. Now, there are some things to mention about widgets when it comes to bugs that have been found. So let me just read a couple of them out to you. Some people have been suffering from the widgets wherever they've been positioned, flickering a little bit. So that's sometimes a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying. They may not be working perfectly for every single person that downloads the beta. Then there is also the matter of certain things like panoramas, which Apple mentioned in their keynote as being an amazing way to almost sort of look through a small portal into these panoramas. They're sometimes not always loading. So you're kind of left with a basic placeholder of nothing really, a grey with a little picture icon. And so that's a little bit frustrating. I've found that has been a little bit hit and miss with some of the photography that I've chosen to go in those windows that are pinned to my walls. But I haven't really noticed too much flickering. Tell me in the comments down below if you've experienced some strange things using widgets on Apple Vision Pro. Next, enormously impressive feature, something that I genuinely wasn't sure they could get to this level, was spatial personas have been upgraded. They look absolutely phenomenal. Apple have done a great job of improving what was a beta and have made this go from an uncanny valley, strange looking kind of ghostly presence that had squashed ears and terrible hair, and have turned it into something that has really genuinely impressed me. It's got incredible detail in the face, the features. They don't look so soft anymore. They really do stand out as looking far more lifelike than the previous iterations of spatial personas. I've redone mine, and as you probably can see in this video, I do really look, unfortunately, like that. I wish I didn't, but I do. It's frustrating. I wish I looked more like Brad Pitt, but I don't. It's freakishly good at how well it scans your face with no extra steps to what you had to do before. Still using the Vision Pro, taking a facial scan, doing the movements, head up, head down, left, right, eyes closed, smile, all those things, and getting a much higher quality version of yourself for FaceTime, being in social apps, doing lots of different things, including a new feature we'll talk about in a bit in SharePlay. One of the things that's really, really amazing about spatial personas now is that you have ears. Yes, you have ears, you have better hair, you've got more options in extra accessories such as different glasses frames, the ability to fit them better to you. You can have different colors of frames. It's still not massive, but it's better than what we've had so far before VisionOS 26. So are there any bugs with spatial personas? There are indeed. When I went through my registration and trying to create my persona, I'd have a moment where I'd completed everything, chosen my glasses that I was thinking about wearing at the time, and it would just spin around with a loading, spinning wheel, as you would imagine. It just didn't change. It just got really frustrating. I ended up just basically like quitting out or shutting down my Vision Pro, starting again. It was very frustrating. It took me at least 3 or 4 attempts to try and get my facial persona to register. So that is one thing that was really frustrating and a bit glitchy and buggy and kind of concerning. I wasn't sure where I was going to brick my headset doing things like this. Thankfully not, and I managed to get it registered. Some people were reporting that the facial persona can break, and basically in a nutshell, you kind of look a bit dead, which is not ideal when you want to be communicating with people as you. But yeah, not really working that great sometimes in lower light or even dark conditions, which obviously there are going to be challenges to being able to replicate facial movement in the dark. I don't think I've ever really noticed that it's worked that great before. But I think when it completely stops working, then it really is a big major crash. So not ideal. Next is one of my favorite updates in VisionOS 26 for Apple Vision Pro, and that is spatial scenes. Basically, it is the ability to turn any 2D image into 3D. Now, Apple had this ability to turn your photos into, and this is only at the moment for still images, but turning it into spatial images. And with that, it was great, but now it's gone to a whole new level. As you can see, it has the ability to do something that's like a spatial depth map, where it basically can create a lot more information to give you massive degrees of parallax. Now, it's not absolutely perfect, but it is allowing you the ability to look all around the scene and have more perspective, more movement, ability to look around things that you couldn't do before. It's just like magic, and it blew my mind when I saw my short film that I worked on with my colleagues at River, Lost Boys, this movie poster that I created actually in ChatGPT. It wasn't even a real image. Really stand out and just blow my mind at how well it was kind of occluding people in the background, and it was just incredible. And it now lends itself to the ability to have some of these spatial scenes in websites when you're browsing on Safari in the Apple Vision Pro. So it's something that more websites hopefully will implement, and I actually really love this feature. As far as I'm aware, there has been very little or any reports of any problems with these spatial scenes. Obviously, it's not going to be able to recreate things that wasn't seen in the photo when it was taken, but it does a pretty good job of estimating a decent amount of the features within the photo. So I actually think that they've done a great job, and I'm sure that with time it will probably improve even more, and I just don't know how they're going to do it. Next is shared experiences. So say for instance, I've got an Apple Vision Pro, you've got an Apple Vision Pro, and we're both in the same room. We can now, say for instance, watch together at the same time a movie or TV show on Apple TV, and we won't see each other's personas, but we'll be able to watch the same media at the same time. Now, some people will be like, well, just watch TV. If you're watching a film or media, why would you want to watch this together at the same time in Vision Pro? And it's a considerable expense to have 2 Vision Pros on people's heads just watching a movie. But that said, I think that there is an amazing feeling of being able to be at the movies watching a big screen, like a super-sized screen with incredible audio, and being able to share it with people around you, and understanding not everybody has the ability to freely just do as they please and go to the movies or go to their friend's house. Some people don't have that opportunity. They may have children, they may have commitments, they may not be able to leave home. So Apple Vision Pro gives you that ability. People could come to you if they've got one, and you aren't limited to just the boundaries of a traditional 2D piece of media. You could be watching 3D media together. These are all things very interesting. Now, the only things that I've heard which are a little bit standing out, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily glitches, but they are that some media is still DRM'd, still got this copyright management attached to it. So you're trying to watch something and you're only seeing a black screen. That is something that I think that will be resolved by Apple in the future. I'd like to hope that they will do. Otherwise, I really don't understand why you aren't able to share and watch these things together. You're both watching them in a headset anyway. It's not like you're broadcasting them on a TV or doing a live stream. A couple of small things to add in between the gaps is that Apple did not mention during the keynote that they had included a feature that was eyes to scroll. So you're able to use your eyes. You're able to look at, say, let's for instance, say a Safari web page. If you look at the bottom, it will start to scroll down. Obviously, if you look up towards the top, it will start to scroll back up. It's something that has been seen in previous headsets over the years, things like HoloLens, giving you the ability to be kind of a bit more hands-free and scroll through pages or scroll through music. Different apps will allow you to do this eye scrolling, which is pretty cool, but who knows, it may give you a tad bit of eye fatigue if you do it a lot. I don't see it being the problem, but just so you know. So just wanted to have a quick break to say that I did do a video not too long ago about Moon VR Player, and I did say that I was going to hand out a handful of codes to some of my viewers by entering comments on that video about your desire to want to have access to it. So I'm going to be leaving in the description down below the chosen winners for the codes. Go and check it out and find out whether you are one of the winners. If you are, I'm going to be reaching out to you soon. I'd like you to contact me at the email address that I'll provide below, and I will share with you the codes so that you can access Moon VR Player as soon as possible. We now have official support for Immersive Media on VisionOS, which is incredible, something that we hadn't had. I've recently, not that long, done a video with Moon Player where I kind of expressed the fact that Vision Pro didn't have native support for immersive video in a native player. Now, we don't actually have a native QuickTime player. That's not what they announced, but they announced that you can load spatial media, immersive media, and obviously Apple immersive video, all able to be watched through Apple Vision Pro natively now, which is great for developers if you're looking to add in this kind of media into your future applications. It's now going to be a little more streamlined with Apple's new file type, which is APMP file type, which you can do through supported software. We're also going to be getting an immersive editor, apparently, from Adobe, which is very, very interesting news. Apple did announce that they will be supporting media that's produced from companies such as GoPro, Insta360, and Canon. So that's really exciting moving forward for all those people in immersive media. I've tried playing some of my files back on Apple Vision Pro. There seem to be a few little optimizations that have to happen that sometimes are not particularly quick, but I've managed to get some of my media to play natively from the Files app, and I'm so happy that it can do it. One of the most important, I think, announcements of WWDC when it comes to VisionOS, and specifically, obviously, Apple Vision Pro, has only ever had the ability to control it using these, your hands, and obviously eye tracking for the ability to navigate as well. But when it comes to input, your hands have been the only input, and there have been companies who have tried to make sort of third-party controllers to allow you to maybe have a little bit more precision. Well, Apple finally had unveiled probably the worst kept secret when it comes to Apple Vision Pro's ability to natively be compatible with Sony PlayStation VR2's controllers. That will hopefully lead to maybe some of the more popular games being ported over from the likes of Quest and others, and having the visual fidelity that Apple Vision Pro has. It's going to be genuinely amazing to see better games and more accurate tracking with controllers. The biggest drawback right now, and I'm sure it'll be improved in the near future, is that these controllers are only available when you buy a PlayStation VR2 or PSVR 2 full package. So the controllers aren't even available standalone right now. So unless you already owned one, you won't be able to get your hands on them unless you bought them maybe used online or bought a used PSVR 2. So no announcement from Apple when Sony may release these standalone. I really hope that they do very, very soon, because this is one of the things I haven't managed to try yet, but I have seen others such as the likes of Nathy and more try them with great success and prove it has a lot of accuracy. One really big thing that's quite good is the ability to have your own eye and hand tracking saved to your iPhone. That means maybe if you're in a collaborative environment or you're looking to share a Vision Pro, that particular data can be saved to your iPhone, and that means it's much quicker to get going on Apple Vision Pro when maybe the device is not necessarily directly yours. I think that's a great idea. I think that they needed to do something like this. The ability to only have one guest on Apple Vision Pro was pretty poor. When you consider the competition doesn't have eye and hand tracking, you can just get going straight away. Apple needed to find a solution to this, and this seems to be the best way. The only downside is that if you don't own an iPhone, then you won't be able to do that, and you will have to continue to use the guest mode. The ability now to be able to create folders on Apple Vision Pro, which is absolutely brilliant, a major game changer. I was starting to download so many apps. I was getting so many pages of applications. It was getting absolutely ridiculous. So now I'm able to organize them into specific categories, much like you can do on iPhone, iPad, and Macs. It's brilliant, and it took them far too long. But the one thing that I wanted to tell you about was a brand new immersive environment coming really soon to Apple Vision Pro. It hasn't actually launched on the current beta, which is the new Jupiter environment, where you can kind of basically move through time, seeing Jupiter's storms as they kind of basically surround the planet, and the bait that, you know, you realistically are having a pretty incredible experience viewing something like this in immersive. I just wish that I got to see it now. I'm going to have to be patient. And the only thing that frustrates me is that we're only getting one immersive environment. I really hoped with all this time we'd have at least got a few more. So I just wanted to fill in a couple of bugs that are left with the brand new update to VisionOS 26. One of the biggest bugs that I'm hearing is that not everyone has been able to use Mac Virtual Display. It has been crashing on them, or they haven't even been able to access it, which is a bit of a pain if you do use it as your daily driver large display. I absolutely love it. I haven't experienced, touch wood, any crashes with it yet, and it does work just as it did before, but I have heard numerous people say that theirs is very much broken. So what are my final thoughts about VisionOS 26? And I've said VisionOS 26 about 9 million times, but my feeling for Apple Vision Pro right now, as of June 2025, is that Apple have managed to basically pull a little bit of a rabbit out of the hat. They've managed to do so many extra things to improve the usability of Apple Vision Pro. So I just hope that they just get better, more improved over the next couple of beta updates, and I'll keep you informed as new things drop. I'm looking forward to telling you more about that Jupiter environment when it does release. And that is really it. You know, there isn't really a lot else to say. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to A Vision Experiment for more videos just like this. Just hit the bell and you'll get notified when a new video drops. I really hope that I've answered everything that I could for you guys and giving you an honest opinion of some of these features and giving you some idea about their potential shortcomings right now as a brand new software. Liquid Glass has come to VisionOS as well with a few tweaks in its styling. I love the AppleVisionPro's UI, so I'm kind of glad that nothing has really massively changed. Just a few things, you know, things like some of the animations that you get when you look at your hand and turn it over. They've kind of changed a little bit to what you'd be used to on the 2.5 version of VisionOS. But other than that, everything is very familiar and as you would expect. And with that, I'll catch you guys for another video on the channel really soon.